Hey, welcome to Aftermath, Overcoming What's Left Behind. In each episode, my friend Tom Fallon and I, Theresa Reif, we want to normalize the conversation about sexual abuse. We want to share hope and joy through our topical conversations. You know, both Tom and I, we've overcome the effects of sexual abuse in our lives, and we each wrote a book about it. We wrote about how God helped us overcome it. We want to invite you to listen and join us as we share our personal struggles and victories. You know, when we were facing our abuse and working through it, boy, it wasn't an easy process. But I'll tell you this, it was worth it. So Tom and I, we want to share in your journey with you because we truly, honestly believe and personally know that you can find hope and joy in the aftermath of sexual abuse.
Hello and welcome to Aftermath, Overcoming...
What's Left Behind.
What's Left Behind. Okay.
That's all right.
I'm Tom Fallon and this is Theresa
Reif.
Hey,
thanks. I think that's the first time we've said my last name. That's all right. Nobody
it,
ever gets it right.
Is it right.
You can just call me Theresa, like Prince.
Prince. Well, that's pretty hefty.
You don't think I can handle it?
Madonna, Theresa. Yeah.
Ooh, no, don't. Yeah, no. Okay, never mind. Theresa Reif. I got that.
Got that right.
Perfect. Yeah,
that's what
we're
it is.
Good. Okay.
All right, so we got a very tough topic today.
It can be.
Forgiveness, yes.
But a good one once we do it.
So powerful.
Pays back really well.
Payback is good.
Payback is really good.
It's like 10 to 1. No, like 100 to 1.
So we should tell them. They're like all probably waiting like, well, what is it?
What forgiveness is?
Yeah, that's...
Forgive me, I haven't told you yet. Not the same?
We're talking about forgiveness today.
Yeah, I thought we already said that.
We're probably going to work on it a little bit too.
Oh, yeah. No, you better. I've forgiven you a lot, so don't worry.
You've forgiven me already.
Yeah,
that works so good. Yeah. I'm human. Human. Forgive me a lot. It's good.
How significant... Well, I guess that'd be maybe one of the last questions. That's pretty aggressive.
We can always start with the...
How forgiving.
Go right to the core.
Yeah, really? So, let's see. Let's start with like kindergarten forgiveness. Do you think there's more than one type of forgiveness? I don't know. Yeah.
That's a really good question. I think there are maybe, I don't know. I think it's all the same thing, isn't it? I mean, sometimes I think there are things that seem harder to forgive than other things.
Oh. So
but I think forgiveness itself is essentially in the essence of forgiveness. It's the same
there's like
thing.
one definition.
I mean, this says here, I'll tell you what I have.
Yeah, you go
this is in my book, and it says, stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone. From the dictionary.
Oh, no, I was one.
It's in my book. Yeah, you're trying to get me to that's in my book. Overcoming sexual abuse.
Do I have forgiveness in my book?
I hope so.
I don't think so.
I think you did forgiveness, so doing it and talking about it is kind of the same. We hope.
It's not. You think it's
not the same?
Not the same.
No, probably not.
So.
One thing that's really important with forgiveness, and I have this right here too, is that it doesn't actually diminish what happened to us.
Oh, it doesn't?
No. I mean, just because you forgive something doesn't mean what happened to you
didn't happen to you.
Yeah, or that it was right. Because just because, I think sometimes when we forgive, we can think like we're saying, well, it's okay what you did. No, that's not what we're saying we forgive.
Right.
Because it isn't okay, right? Like being sexually abused, there's nothing okay about being sexually abused. Right. Forgiveness is for us. And I think we've had this conversation, haven't we? A little bit here and there.
Forgiveness is for us.
Forgiveness is for us.
Right.
Because the minute we let go and forgive, then we kind of cut the ties between us and that thing that happened to us or whatever that person said or did. Or
is forgiveness more of the beginning of overcoming or the end of overcoming?
I think it's different for everybody. I think for me it was right around in the middle. I think that when I decided to really forgive, and I have this book here that really helped me. It's called Total Forgiveness by R.T. Kendall. And he talked about the fact that excuse me, my nose is a little stuffy. You know that you've actually forgiven someone when you don't want anything bad to happen to them anymore. Yeah. And that actually this was a really hard book for me to read. I have to admit that I read a little bit of it, laid it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of felt like every time I'd read it, it was like, and I was like, oh, that hurt a little bit. Take the knife out and then I'll be okay. because I just think forgiveness used to be like a 4-letter word to me. Forgive that? Oh, no.
Can.
No, because I think it felt powerful to kind of hold on to it.
Right.
Like
so
it felt like
issues.
I have strength in this because that happened to me. That makes me mad, and I'm strong because of that, right? Like because of the anger. And I just had this really confused understanding, like if I let that go, that I would be weak and vulnerable.
And it's actually the opposite.
It is the opposite.
Right.
Because it actually cuts our tie with them, makes us more powerful in the present because we get to just walk free of that. And what's awesome in spiritual life is then that connection we had to them, we get to make a new connection with God, and it increases our relationship with God because it's no longer that in between us and God. Because it's kind of like when we're not forgiving, that person or that thing ends up in being between us and God. It can cause all kinds of other things that mess up our relationship with the Lord.
Right.
Was that easy for you, forgiveness?
I would think... I use a lot of sentences like that, don't I?
That's all right.
I would think that it wasn't until it was. Mm-hmm. And then when it was like, when I forgave, it was like...
Yeah, you just had to make the decision,
it's
right?
Good. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, like I really do believe. I can almost, it took me a few minutes, but I can almost remember, I see myself talking to myself about forgiving, like in history, like in my mind's history. So I can actually think I can remember the moment and the release that was present in me when I actually said, I'm not carrying him no more. I forgive you. I forgive you. Like, and that forgiveness we read somewhere today is that I wish the dude no harm. Right. Right. And before I was protecting his life from my father, but then that's different than wishing him no harm.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
would call
need
that
anything
adding
done to him.
insult to injury.
What?
Having to protect him from your dad. Like
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
is-
scummy, but I mean...
It is pretty scummy. That's a good word. That actually describes it really well.
Scummy?
Scummy, yeah. Yeah, because it's like terrible. You were a kid.
Yeah, I just hope that no one's keeping track of everything I'm doing. Like, every decision I've ever made and stuff like that. Oh, maybe it's all washed in the blood.
Forgiveness. Yeah, we've got forgiveness from Jesus, thankfully.
And we can redo it. We can come back to it. We were talking about something earlier. Yeah, maybe I'll bring it up again. Maybe I won't.
There's a big difference between forgiveness and reconciliation, too. And I think for me, that was a really important space to settle in and understand. And it took me a while to really understand what that meant, because I really originally thought forgiveness meant I had to actually be in relationship with the person that abused me. And that wasn't on my list of fun things to, like, not on my bucket list at all. That wasn't on my bucket list.
You thought you had to be in a relationship because
I thought that if I forgave my father, that meant I had to be back in relationship with him. That's actually not part of forgiveness.
It's not part of forgiveness, no.
And I also went through a time, we were talking about how you remember the verse very well in your life to honor your mother and father, and you shared that with me. And I think that was a huge issue for me. And I have a dear friend, my dear friend who's a pastor, and she preached actually one weekend at our church about honoring your mother and father. And that was traumatic for me. That was really traumatic. I spent weeks trying to figure out, like, was I doing that? Like, is God going to curse me? Like, am I just lost? Am I, like, dead? Am I screwed, right? Like, am I, like, no chance? And so I actually ended up really actually going to her. I just texted her and I said, you're my friend and you're also my pastor. So
you're wrong.
You have time to hang out with me and just kind of, like, let me ask you questions, because when you preached about that a couple weeks ago, it wrecked me. Because it really just did. It really made me feel like, where's my faith? I have no faith. I don't even, do I believe in God? I felt like I questioned kind of everything in that moment, because
After
I thought,
that sermon.
yeah, because I just thought, I've got everything wrong. Like, this is one of the essentials. Like, this is like in the 10 Commandments. Am I completely failing? Like, And so the best thing about her was she's super cool. She's a friend of mine, and she sat with me, and I just looked at her and I was like, here's what happened to me. Like, no, she didn't know my story. And so I kind of shared with her, here's what happened. Here's what I've been through. I thought I had forgiven him until you preached. And then I was like, oh my gosh, should I be in relationship?
Oh, okay. So
right?
there's levels of
am I
forgiveness.
am I honoring my father
Right.
based on what you said, right? And so what's awesome is she actually looked me in the eye and she said, you've forgiven him? And I said, yeah. I mean, I don't hold anything against him. I don't want anything wrong to happen to him, And she said, that's honoring for you. She said, you are honoring your father by forgiving him. That's enough. That's all that I think you owe. So it still was heavy for me for a while. I have to admit, it kind of like settled in me, and I thought, ooh, but is it really, I think I still questioned every once in a while, and just kind of spent some time with God, really like in just reading my Bible, understanding how much he loves me. And I think I really came to the place where I realized God loves me. And so maybe I'm not getting this right. Maybe I'm just not able to like get past it, or, maybe I should be reconciled to my father. And, I think I just kind of found this place where I realized God was my father, and that he loved me enough that even if I wasn't getting it right, I was going to be okay.
Right.
So.
So I maybe the act of figuring out forgiveness and honoring is the act of it. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, not actively, wishing ill on him.
Yeah.
It could be that simple, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that was how in this book they defined forgiveness. The absolute forgiveness. To know that you've forgiven is to ask yourself that question. Do I want anything bad to happen to them, and could I pray for them? So that was a little step further for me. I was like, ooh, could I pray for him? I really don't know. Like I think I hit that space for sure too.
Okay, so you have to pray for your dad?
Well, I mean, like, there's no hard, fast rule. But that was, like, kind of their definition of, like, I think that's a big step.
Yeah, I'm not sure I ever prayed for Mr.
No.
Evil.
I mean, like, I wouldn't,
Yeah, I don't think I did. I mean, I don't wish anything ill on him. He's hopefully dead. Oh, sorry. I think he's dead by now, but he should be dead, right? He's like 1 trillion years old then.
He's 1 trillion years old.
Yeah, he's like...
I think the hardest... I think the hardest person to forgive is ourselves.
Let's see. Is it hard to forgive myself?
Well,
I
is
think
it
might
easy
be
to
hard
forgive Kelly, your wife? Is it easy to forgive your wife?
Well, is it
That's
easy?
kind of the closest
For what?
person to you.
For what?
For anything. Is it easy to forgive Kelly?
I think, now, this is on camera, I think that I live a life that I don't hold things against her.
Right.
I don't call her guilty on nothing. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to forgive her because she didn't offend me.
Yeah.
I know she has my best interest in mind. Mm-hmm. So whatever. If she like,
If she messes up, she messes up, and you're just like,
so be it.
I love you, Kel.
I know she did her best. I
human.
know she mostly did her best. And if she didn't, she'd say, well, I was fooling around. I didn't feel like doing it or whatever.
Yeah.
She'd come clean with me. So there's no reason for me to...
have to forgive her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She hasn't, she hasn't deliberately offended me at all.
Yeah.
That one I can't remember.
How about yourself? Do you forgive yourself that easily?
I probably don't. Mm-hmm. I probably work myself over pretty hard about things and try to figure out why I did it, what I said, how come I meant it that way. And I probably work myself over a ton on stuff. Mm-hmm. But then, luckily I don't remember stuff for a long time.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
Yeah.
You have happy forgetfulness.
Right, yeah. So
it's a gift.
Yeah, forgiveness is definitely a blessing. You have to work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm making a lot of noise with my glasses, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. How about God? Did you ever feel like you needed to forgive God for anything? Like, did you ever blame God for anything? I guess that's
I must have blamed him ignorantly, younger. But it's God.
Yeah.
He's got my best interest. Mm-hmm. He's not my Santa Claus. Trust me. I know he's not Santa Claus, but I know that he loves me.
Yeah.
And I know that he cares for me, and that he wants the best. I think he wants the best for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but he has an agenda with my life, and it's not my agenda; it's his agenda.
And you're okay with that? You're cool with that? Yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? I don't know.
I mean, there are people who might not be cool with that.
Am I okay with God's agenda for my life? Mm-hmm. I wish I knew what it was.
Yeah, a little sneak peek would be nice.
But you have an idea what your agenda is, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. But I definitely went through a season where I blamed God for my life. Like, where I kind of did the, why did you have to put me with my family? Like, why couldn't you have put me with that family? Why couldn't I have been adopted, saved, rescued? And I think what I love about God and how much he loves us is he can handle that.
Yeah.
He didn't strike me down with lightning because I kind of questioned what the heck? Like, why? Where were you?
Yeah.
And that literally isn't until the last chapter of my book, because that was, for me, was really kind of the last thing the last hurdle I really needed to get over, was just understanding, like, God, how could you let this happen to me? And were you there? Were you actually there? Like, did you let that happen to me? What happened? And God was so gracious in that he really, and this is where I really learned that I had forgiven him, is when I realized he was there. And it wasn't that because he gives us free will, and he gives free will to everyone. And so even though he didn't let it happen or want it to happen, we all have free will. And so someone else's sinful nature was taken out on me, but he gives everyone free will. So we all have the choice. So God was there protecting me. It's why I'm still alive today. I wouldn't be alive today, because if God hadn't been protecting me, I would have ended everything.
Right.
But that was kind of a hard road. I really had to step back and go, okay, God, well, that's what I love about the Psalms, because David is so real, and he's so really kind of, he's emotional, and he goes from one thing to another with God, where in one Psalm, he'll say, God, you're amazing. You're the coolest, says all these awesome things about God and how awesome he is. And the next time he's like, you left me. Where are you, God? And so I love his kind of mood swings, and so I can relate to that. I can relate to feeling like, where were you? Like, dude, like, this happened to me. Like, were you there?
When people ask me, well, like, where do I think God was? Mm-hmm. I say he was there. I could have got killed. Mm-hmm. I don't know how bad it could have been. I mean,
what if you had left and just ran around Boston?
Yeah, what if
It's
that?
not a
But I
safe
think
place.
at his hand. I mean, what if?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know how it was going to end up.
Yeah, he could have made you disappear.
Could have. Yeah. Could have done anything. Could have happened.
That's right.
I don't want to put visions out there, but
no, sure.
So I have to assume that he was there for me.
Ever since I wrote my book, people share their stories with me. Did that happen to you?
It does.
Yeah, and I think that hearing other stories is, I think I kind of have to do forgiveness once in a while over again, because I hear their stories and I'm like, how could they? How could that person do that to this person? And I could take that on. Like, I could really just take
it's hard
as
not
my
to.
offense,
Yeah.
and like get mad for them.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, oh my gosh. But it's also made me thankful that God put me in the place where I really get the honor of hearing other people's stories, and just get to say, wow, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Right. I kind of feel if I can carry a piece away, that piece, I can carry that with me away. Maybe they don't have that no more.
Wow.
It's tough.
That's a lot of responsibility.
I'll put it somewhere else.
Give it to Jesus.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
He's really good at taking care of those little things. Yeah. I pray for a lot of people that come up and talk to me. I have a lot of people say to me, I've never told anyone this before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember, I don't know if I want to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know that I remember a lot of stuff.
The people's stories.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I do walk
it's
away
hard to
sometimes
hear.
saying, oh man, that hurts.
Yeah, because it's too close to home sometimes.
I need something. I gotta go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get in the ring.
Talk to somebody.
Hit someone.
It's not all about boxing, dude.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, in my head is like, would be a good outlet,
Yeah.
Hit the bag a few times.
Yeah, the bag's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a speed bag. That sounds good.
Speed bag.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was thinking heavy bag.
Huh?
You think it's speed
It's
bag.
because we've been on the phone at times and
Oh, in
there's
the
somebody
gym,
in the background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's same.
I'm like, what is that? Oh, this is speed bag. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they don't use it when I'm on the phone.
What about bystanders? I think that was hard for me. Do you know bystanders are kind of people who stand by and kind of maybe they knew it was happening, maybe they didn't.
You probably have more experience. You definitely have more experience with a bystander. But I consider my mother to be a bystander.
Yeah.
She didn't.
But that's not her fault. That doesn't mean it's her fault. But as a kid, it does feel like there's responsibility there. I mean, she didn't necessarily, you told her and she did what she could, but she was a victim in the situation with your dad probably too.
Yeah, I think I don't have any ill against my mom.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think when I started telling my story to people that maybe knew my father or knew, him before everything kind of came out. I think the hard thing was to hear some people knew him and didn't believe me.
Oh.
And I had to forgive those people, like literally one by one by one by one. And then I told some people in church, and those people went and told a whole lot of people, like on the prayer chain type of auspice.
The gospel, the gossip chain.
The gossip chain, Yeah. That
Sorry.
really hurt. I think that hurt pretty deep for me. Like, I think that was a hard one to get over. Like, and to just feel like, did they realize what they were sharing? Like, that was like, and kind of, I felt like, and here I am talking about it in public now, but only by God's grace. Because at that time when it was all coming out, it felt like a very intimate, horrible detail of my life. You know, like a look-see into all the ugly of my life.
Right.
And it felt very, I mean, it just felt mean. You know, felt like they realized, like, that's my life you're talking about there.
I don't know that I've experienced any of that.
Yeah. Because really nobody knew for you, right? Like you grew up and you were at the gym and people didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, but I was kind of like, you know, I tried to tell people that was in his life, you know, his life. Mm-hmm. I can remember talking to one or two, definitely one of his fighters, saying, hey, man, what's up with, you know, get away from that guy, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know that that other thing was true for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of
Did
people,
you feel like you ever had to forgive your brother? Or?
I
mean, you love your friends.
I love my brother, man,
Yeah.
but no, I really believe that he did
the best he could.
That he could, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I believe
that's
that,
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe. I got no problem against my brother whatsoever.
No, I wasn't saying
Yeah, no,
that.
I'm not saying you think.
I mean, in the past. Like, I mean, I think in the past, for me, when I had to start working through it, there were lots of things to forgive. And some of those things were really just misunderstandings. Because as kids, our brains just actually don't work the same as when
Right.
we're full-grown brains, right? Kids are born with a brain that's not full-grown.
Right.
And as you go into puberty,
Yeah.
I mean, that really messes with your
Right.
brain chemistry. We know, like, I mean, kids at that age are, you know, kind of like, whoa, a little crazy. I have a teenager. And so, but that time in your life can be confusing. And then you become an adult and your brain is finally full grown. But there's so many misunderstandings we can get
Right.
in those times, you know, when we just don't even have good understanding of life in general and a good picture, especially if we've been abused, because that kind of skews our view of the world we live in.
Right.
Yeah.
When I think about helping people with this stuff, and I think about putting something on paper, I think about, I think about, write it out for me. Let's write it out. So, okay, so, you know, like, what happened to me? Okay, so Bill Evil did this and that to me. Okay, so how do I feel about that? Like, and why do I feel that way? And like, so you maybe even boil everything down to like how, like, really significant aspects. Can I, like, so I think there should be I should develop a series of questions like, you know, yes, can you live with this, like, type of thing, or like, I don't know, like, is that when at the end of the day, it was really, to me, I just assumed that it was an experience that I went through. Unfavorable, but I had a million unfavorable experiences. So for me, why would I give this so much significance when I don't give other things? So why do I place so much significance on this, and why am I going to let this hold me back? I don't think I can.
Yeah, no, it's a good decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do I encourage someone? Listen, it sucked. Okay, you're gonna let it suck
you
for the rest
wouldn't
of your life.
volunteer for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna volunteer for it, right?
No.
But if it saves somebody else, I might. Not really volunteer for it, but I mean, I'll take a beating if it's gonna help someone else
I get
avoid
that.
a beating. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your kids.
I'll
or
take
your
that beating
wife or-
anytime from my son.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And maybe I took that beating, and as far as I know, no one's sniffing my boy's gate. You know, dogs sniff gates and stuff. Sniff fences. Nobody's sniffing his fence.
Yeah, I mean, I was like trying to understand what you were saying and
you
not
did?
trying to like understand what you were saying all at the same time. I was
You
like,
don't want to understand?
it was like the whole gate thing. I really didn't get it, but I get it now.
Sniffing
You
the
explained it.
fence? Yeah.
I get it. Yes, dogs.
Marking
do
his
those kinds of
territory
things.
and
Sure,
all that
sure,
stuff.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
so that's what I always try to do. We didn't talk about that in parenting, but I always made myself known. Always.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is my kid, not your kid.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to face me if anything happens to my son.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how do we actually forgive? What is the act of forgiving? What do you think that is?
Well, I think first it's a decision.
So we
I think
make
it starts
a choice.
in your head. Yeah, I think you have to decide, I'm going to forgive this person. How
Okay.
do I do it? How do I go about it? I think that takes a little bit of time because I think sometimes our thoughts and our feelings don't line up. Right?
Sometimes.
Like all the time.
Yeah,
Most of the
that's a
time.
challenge. I would say challenge number one, maybe.
Get your feelings in line with what
That's
your
why I was talking about the
brain
paper
is.
and stuff like that, so you can
I think
really
that's
see
good.
it.
Yeah, focus on it.
Yeah.
I write everything down. I'm a pen person. I have huge notebooks, and I just love to write out my prayers. I write scripture. I write my list of groceries. I kind of just write everything in the same notebook, so it's all in one
I don't
place.
have to do that.
No, you remember what to get at the grocery
No.
store? Oh, Kelly does it.
Do I look like a wimp?
I need a Kelly.
Do I look like a
Can I get a
pushover?
Kelly?
I'm
No, not at all.
okay.
You need her. She's your wife.
She's my girl.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's my help me.
Love Kelly.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy's saying here, make a meat hook. Imagine a meat hook around your neck. Make a list of the offender's offenses. They are your rocks of resentment. I can see some value in like making a list and checking it twice and making sure all the T's and stuff are crossed and then really examine it. At the end of the day, I mean, Billy Boo just offended me and like, impacted my body. But I couldn't let him wreck my spirit.
Yeah, because it belongs to Jesus.
Right, and I couldn't let him affect the rest of my life.
No, that's good.
So, but I didn't use
But that's good determination, right? Like, we kind of need that. I think determination motivates us to allow change and to find forgiveness and to work with God on that. Because if you're determined to not let something bother you or really command which way you're going, it takes determination, right? Which I think you and I both have in common in that we just decided, no more. We're going to deal with it, get over it, move on. And that's why we're here. That's actually why we're sitting here, is to help other people do the same thing.
And you said before, it's not that we're telling people, listen, it's not that important or it's not significant.
That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
But is it significant enough to ruin the rest of my life? No.
Right.
It's not. I
No,
have
and
many
to
things
continue
to do.
to let them. Like, it was
Right.
bad enough as it was. What happens?
Yeah, what do I need to relive that for?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No.
And I'm not gonna.
No, and in fact, the only reason we have been talking about it at all is just to help other people.
Right.
Because we want other people to be able to forgive and move on and
if
be
we
in good relationships.
didn't, we wouldn't be together, you and me.
No, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
Yeah. No, for
And
sure. Taking one for the team, kind of.
you taking one?
Well,
I'm giving one. I'm giving
no,
it.
because we're like sitting here, talking about our past. and
Yeah.
Bravely. I appreciate that about you. You are bravely sharing. It's good.
Hey,
It's good.
if it's good, you say it's good. It's good.
It is. It is.
All right.
Are you good at we talked about forgiving?
No, I'm not good at forgiving anybody or everybody. I'm not.
No.
No, I can't. It's not something I practice. Because
But you're not easily offended. You
right.
said.
I don't want to say.
So
I
you don't
walk
feel
around
like you
being-
have a whole bowl of stuff to forgive every day.
I don't feel like I do.
Yeah.
But trains run through my mind, and I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, that makes me mad. That makes me mad. But I mean, like trains don't stick around long enough to make me really angry.
They're just stopping at the station.
Yeah, just like
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess
Remember?
you're right.
Oh, this guy did that to me 16 years ago. I remember that. And it's like, yeah, let's go have a pizza. You know what I mean? Like, let's go get
So you're not holding it against him, and in fact,
I might. I think I might. I think I have to work on that. I really do.
that's a good thing to
Admit?
kind of focus on and admit. Yeah.
When I have time. So what are you saying? Do I
Someday.
do I hold things against people? Ultimately, I probably don't.
Yeah.
No, but
I don't think you do.
Superficial things I might. But like, I don't know what I've been hurt. Who's hurt and who's hurt me?
Yeah.
Who's hurt me lately?
Because you don't really let people hurt you either, right?
Or maybe that may be a protective thing. Yeah, I don't let people in far enough to get close enough to hurt me.
Maybe.
That stinks. Isn't it?
I don't think that's actually true. We're friends.
Yeah, we're friends, but
I'm not super offensive.
Yeah, like what have you done? I don't know. What have you done?
I don't know. I
anything.
have offended people. I'm a lot.
Garrett,
That's
on
what
the
people
other
tell.
hand, Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I think I try to live a Christ-like life, and then in that is forgiveness. But I don't. Forgiveness means I took it on for myself, and I don't think I take things on. I don't think I do. I don't think I take on offenses. Oh, that's offensive to me. Maybe later.
Yeah, you just
Maybe I'll
like,
look on it later. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe I don't have time to do it.
kind of roll with it.
Try to.
Martin Luther King Jr. said this about forgiveness. He said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." He also said we must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Martin Luther King Jr., he definitely knew about having to forgive over and over and over and over, because what he was fighting for was hard. Fighting for racial equality. He definitely wasn't a popular guy.
No.
There were lots of people against him.
Did you watch? He's on Netflix or he's on Hulu or something.
His story?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that's super cool.
I know you asked me before. I don't know if it was on film or not, but places I've been.
Uh-huh.
I've been to wherever that place was. The Lorraine Motel.
Oh, Kelly was telling me about that because she said she didn't know whether it was appropriate to smile in the picture or not, because it was like behind you and it was where Martin Luther King Jr. was killed.
Yes. I've
Martin
seen it.
Luther King Jr. Yeah, I said that right.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's where he was shot and killed,
Yeah.
And so she was saying she didn't know whether to, like, do you smile?
See, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Picture like that. So that's Kelly, though.
Yeah.
She's kind of sense smart that way. Like, she's...
Yeah. Oh, I'm supposed to feel bad?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it is terrible, right?
Well,
but I mean, you're visiting somewhere,
historic.
And it's tourist type of thing, and then do smile. She was saying that. Yeah.
I guess I'd cry at the cross. I would. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would.
Definitely cried.
I'm not saying that
when that
with
movie
Martin
came
Luther
out. What was
King.
that movie?
Passion.
Definitely.
Did you see it?
Yeah. You kidding? I made my kids watch it, and they were like, "I can't believe you made us watch this. This is so sad."
I bawled.
But it's such an intense,
in
good
church.
picture. Yeah, same. How could you
It's
not?
so sad.
How could you not?
Oh,
I
it's so
think
powerful,
the saddest
man. I was so
part for
loving.
me was when Mary, his mom, goes back and cleans up the blood with that white cloth. It wrecked me. I mean, I literally was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, yeah, great movie though. I mean, really unbelievably great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what he
Nelson-
done? But what he done for us is great.
Yeah, worth celebrating and understanding completely.
Exactly. So.
Nelson Mandela, he spent
Yeah.
27 years in prison because he was
Yeah.
taking a stand against apartheid. He said this about forgiveness. When a deep injury is done to us, we never heal until we forgive. Oh, that was like heavy. Did you hear
Sorry,
that?
I didn't listen. Okay.
When a deep injury is done to us, we never heal until we forgive.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Okay, all right, I give up, I'll forgive.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
He was in prison for nothing for 27 years because he was trying to do a good thing.
Nelson. Yeah.
Yeah. You know him?
I know of him.
We called him by his first
Oh,
name.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mandela.
Y'all buddies.
Yeah, Mr. Mandela. No, I know his effect.
Huh?
I know his effect.
What?
The Mandela effect.
Oh,
I'm just goofing off. Sorry, okay.
dad joke.
That was a dad
I think
joke?
that was a dad joke. Yeah, that's what my kids would say.
Kelly told me no, she didn't.
In my
All
book,
right.
I put forgiveness is both an action and a feeling. What do you
Action
think?
and
Think I was
feeling.
right?
I think you're right about everything. Action and a feeling.
Wow.
Forgiveness is definitely an
Winning at life. Right at everything. Tom Fallon, you heard it here.
action, in my opinion. Wishing over the kids.
Can we record that for my husband? Oh, yeah, wait.
Tom
that was
says-
recorded. Tom says I'm right about everything.
So what did Nelson say? Mr. Mandela?
Going back to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, your buddy.
My pal.
When a deep injury is done to us, we never heal until we forgive. But I said both forgiveness is both an action and a feeling.
Right.
And it's true.
So
because
what
we
led you to
said
think that?
What led me to think an
Yes.
action and feeling?
Yeah.
Because you have to say and do the forgiveness. You have to. I think it's like
You have to feel it in your
I
heart.
forgive you is the action, right?
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a choice and an action. You have to act on it. You have to decide. The decision is the action.
Can you feel it? Can you forgive at degrees?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think because before I really thought before I read this book, I thought I had forgiven. But I don't think I really didn't want something bad to happen. Like if I had heard something bad that happened, because I did hear a few things bad that happened to my father. I think we talked about that yesterday, me, you, and Kelly. But I felt good about that kind of. You know, I was like, that's right. That's what you get. You know what I mean? Like I kind of felt a little like, you know, the hood girl came out in me. Like, that's what you get, jerk. You know, like I kind of like, come at me, bro idea. But I kind of let that go now. And so then now I feel like it's the feeling of forgiveness is really satisfying. Much better. Because I think there's a weight there we don't realize is there that we carry until we really forgive. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it becomes a feeling. And I think that's a good key. That's a good key to know. Like, oh, I really actually have forgiven this person for doing this horrible thing to me. because I don't want anything bad to happen. Not that I'm like preventing things from happening, because that's not my place. But I think that, you know, I don't wish anything to happen or pray that God will smite anyone, you know. But I have prayed that.
Don't smite him, God.
No, the opposite.
Smite him.
Maybe just a little lightning bolt.
Give him a smite.
Just a little.
Yes,
you know. I mean, God did that in the Old Testament. He's the same God as he was in the Old Testament. So I'm like, hey, if you love me, no, that's not a good test for. We don't test God.
What do you think
but
about?
But I definitely thought those things way back.
What do you think about the phrase "forgiving is forgetting"?
I think that's crap.
You never heard of it?
No, I've heard of it, but I disagree. Because I don't think a forgive and forget. I get why it's a saying, but do you forget? Do you forget? No.
But like, does it? Well, how deep is forgetting? How broad is it? Like, forget what? Forget? I don't forget things. Like, I forgot where I put my keys one day. But I mean, I don't know. How do you forget? What is forgetting?
I think it's a silly saying.
Okay.
I just think some moron said that at some point, and everybody thought, "Oh, that's a good idea."
I don't want to offend anybody, so I was going to come up with.
I was going to
come up with a couple types of people that would.
I don't care if I offend people. I'm out.
Oh, you know. No. Well, I was going to say like what, like a I don't know, don't matter.
Yeah. I don't know. Forgive and forget. If anybody out there.
So you don't think it is that though? Like, so a lot of people would say forgiving is forgetting.
No, I disagree.
So you don't
with that
disagree.
Completely.
So forgiving is.
I mean, unless you have amnesia.
Is living with it. Or no, you don't live with it. You acknowledge it.
So maybe it has to do with forgetting the pain.
Forgetting aspects of it?
Forgetting aspects of the pain.
Because you can't forget.
Because to feel that pain over again, I would prefer to forget the pain of it. So if that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. Forgiving.
Then I'm on board.
Forgetting.
But really, to me, it always sounded really trite. Like, oh, simple. Forgive and forget. Like, it's fine. You're fine. And that, to me, was insulting.
It's like if
that made me feel like, oh, what? Do you have any clue? Like where I never want to share the details, but somebody says that to me, I'll tell you exactly what happened to me. Really? Let me try.
Which one
it
do you
out.
want me to forget?
Try it out.
Yeah.
Try it out. Let me tell you. Could you forget if that happened to you? Like, right? Like if you really deep down dirty you want to know, I will tell you if you tell me forgive and forget again.
So it brings me back.
Sorry, maybe I have anger issues.
Can I change the subject real quick?
Feeling like maybe I need to do forgiveness all over again.
You're working on it.
We're all a work in progress, okay? Not perfect, human.
Mandela said what?
Tom is human too. Why do you keep going back to this?
Because he said something.
He said, when a deep injury is done to us, we never heal until we forgive.
Right. So forgetting.
So you're pointing out that I'm not healed.
No. Okay. But maybe the forgetting aspect is not to focus on the wound.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. I just think that maybe it's a poor choice of words. I think it was picked because it kind of like forgive, forget, and it kind of like sounded.
Oh, you're one of those things? Forgive.
Yes, like poetic. Maybe it sounded poetic to people.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not defending it.
I mean, we should look it up. Who started this?
Lauren, who came up with
said
that?
that? Because let him come at me, bro. Because I'm like, I do not like that stuff.
What happened to you?
Yeah, why'd you say that?
You don't know.
Are you forgetful? Do you have amnesia? I mean, that's okay. If you got amnesia, and that's...
No,
not that way.
All right, let's see. All right, so we got that. How do you actually forgive? All right.
It's a decision.
Mm-hmm. Number one is decision, and then I think you work it out after that. Mm-hmm. Decide, have an attitude of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right?
I definitely needed people to pray for me.
Yep.
To help me. Like, just, Lord, help me soften my heart. Help me to forgive. Because it's not easy. I think talking about it with people, like getting counseling and wise counsel was really helpful because just being reminded that it wasn't still happening. I think you can easily, especially with sexual abuse, I feel like, and maybe this is any kind of abuse, so I'm not trying to judge anyone who it's like just, if it's a different kind of abuse. I think all kinds of abuse have attachments where we can feel easily pulled back in, like we're still there and it's still happening.
Right.
And I think that working through that and having someone who's objective and just looking at me and saying, but you're safe now, you're here now, it's not happening, you're okay. And I think having someone, like I had a counselor saying that to me kind of each week, and I thought, I think that really helped me. because it gave me this kind of mantra, this kind of thing I could say to myself in those moments when I have a nightmare, or I am reminded by a smell or a feeling or, music or whatever. Like, because there's all types of triggers in our lives of sexual abuse or abuse. And so anytime those things come at me, I can be tempted to pick up that offense again.
Yeah, the bad.
And I think that forgiveness, I knew I was completely in forgiveness. I had done the work. When even still, when a trigger will come up, my brain is like, I'm okay. Like I run through the mantra. It takes a lot of energy to be me.
I have used. Oh, I forgive that.
Do you get that?
What?
Like you feel like there's a lot my mind does when I'm just like around. Because we were talking about this recently, where you had a trigger. You were out somewhere.
Oh yeah, I was at the
that
St.
thing.
Anthony's thing or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just a cigar.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, it's weird. Do you ever go back to Fenway? I meant to ask you that. Really.
Okay, I'm currently not a baseball fan. Sorry.
I'm not a baseball fan either.
Currently, I'm not.
So weird. We regularly find things we like having.
Yeah, today was this is like the 18th thing today. So I'm not currently a baseball fan.
Yeah.
But I have enjoyed.
But you went back there. That's my question.
Yeah.
Did you take your boys? Like, take your boys to a baseball game?
Yeah, I'll show you.
I mean, Fenway's amazing. So you can't avoid Fenway.
Yeah, I'm not. I might even show them the doorstep of the building because it's right near Fenway. You know what I mean? I probably didn't.
I mean, even for
Kelly.
the sausage, peppers, and onions, that's
It's
actually
all
my
good.
favorite
Oh,
part
really?
of Fenway. I'm not really a baseball fan. And people always spill beer on me
sausages
there.
anywhere, man.
Well, no, not like those push
Okay,
carts
all right,
outside.
I
There's
get you.
nothing like that. And late at night, they're the only ones making anything anyways. Like after the game, they're out there yelling at you, reminding you that they're there. And I'm like, yes, please. And I smell like beer. Every time I would come home, because the fans, they're like two fists in it at all times. But the minute they score, and the beer goes everywhere. Does that happen to you?
I must go to the game.
I was way up in the nosebleeds.
Anyways, it's a good experience.
Sitting on the concrete. What can I say? Yeah. Those guys are throwing their beer.
And you got the bouncer looking over you, saying, "Lady, you can't sit there."
Lady, that was at the concert. Yeah,
I know.
That happens to me a lot.
Tie back. Okay, so.
Yeah, but I'm proud of you. You went back to Fenway. I mean, that's actually like really. That's a win.
Oh, I can, now that you bring that up, I can imagine, I can familiarize myself with emotions of being back there then. Mm-hmm. But now it doesn't matter. No, like anybody, just going back and okay, so now you're bringing it back. I can actually tell you where we were sitting. We sat near that pole. Not near the pole down on the thing, but the pole on the first base side. Mm-hmm. We were like up in that area.
The obstructed seats?
No, we had pretty good seats, but we were up like a couple ways up, and we were right there. So, I never really think about. I don't.
But
really
when you go to Fenway, like you don't feel like it brings you back to any of your like bad memories.
When I see his house, when I see the apartment, I haven't seen it in a while, but when I know where.
Where you are in relation to where that is.
Yeah, where the event was.
Have you ever had to re-forgive? Like, do you ever feel like you've had to, like, when you've been pulled back in? I feel like I've done that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had to do that. And it's kind of, I mean, it's exhausting kind of, right, after a while. But definitely feel like, okay, I know where that, because sometimes I'll wake up and Joel will be like, what is wrong? Because I'll wake up like,
Yeah, all of a sudden.
And he'll say, are you all right? And so we walk through it and he's like, Yeah. And I'm like, yep, okay, help me, Jesus, to forgive right now. Because I don't want to go throughout my day carrying that,
Right.
But it's a life. Like, it's a process. It's not like we forgive and we definitely decide not to get offended again. And we forgive ourselves and God and bystanders. And, you can keep forgiving. But I think the hard part with sexual abuse I've found is that just for me, unfortunately, it's still a little bit of part of my life.
So forgiving is a process, and it doesn't make it go away.
No.
It just makes it so you can be victorious.
I definitely don't have ties to that, what happened to me anymore.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't still affect me, because I do find that, there are times where I struggle. Like, I'm not,
Yeah, it's not like it's not going to bother you ever again.
No.
Right?
No, I don't think so.
And when you smell raunchy, stinky
right?
cigars in New York, down in Boston.
Yeah.
Yes, something pops in your mind, but I don't dwell there. I didn't dwell with it.
That's right.
I was like, hey, Kelly, that pissed me off. Like, what? That cigar Why? This just brings me back. You know what I mean? But then it's like, I don't want to ruin my day today.
Right.
What am I going to let Bill ruin my day today for?
So it's a decision, really.
So I had to make a decision. So I'm just going to brag. When I was working in cable TV, I did a cable TV show, me and Joe P. And it was about quitting smoking.
Oh.
Right? I never smoked, but I mean, just like, dude, I never smoked ever.
You're like, I'll do that with you, sure.
Yeah, I'm like, sure, no.
That's easy.
I don't even know Joe smoked at all. We just thought we'd do something on
That's awesome.
I'd do a TV show.
Yeah.
And C.
Good
Ever
old
Coop.
cable TV.
Yeah, cable TV.
C. Ever Coop. I remember him.
Yeah.
Surgeon. Wait,
Yeah, Surgeon General.
Surgeon General.
He said about quitting smoking, he said, quit again.
Uh-huh.
It just ain't gonna happen once. Forgive again.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Said by Tom Fallon.
Quote me on that.
Quote me on that. Forgive.
Yeah, so forgiving is a process.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. It's probably
Definitely
different.
decision.
It's different for you, different for me.
Definitely.
But there's definitely ideas and concepts that are familiar with each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got to be done over and over and over.
I think in my life there are some things where, as a woman, it's a little different because I can end up in places where I feel taken advantage of, and I don't mean like in regards to sexual abuse, but just because I'm like the woman in the room or whatever, just talked to where I feel like, wait a minute, that was disrespectful, and I hear myself like get like my guard goes up, I get defensive and I bark, like I'll be like, oh yeah, like no, you don't talk to me that, so I feel like some of that in me is a little bit because of my past. I feel like I fight a little bit. Sometimes I fight battles that I don't need to fight.
There you go.
Where I could I've learned and I've gotten better at it, but definitely there are times where my buttons are pushed and I'm like, no.
You're familiar buttons?
I think I'm very sensitive to being disrespected. Very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's because I'm a woman. Does that make sense? So, and I think that's why, though. Like, I mean, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you listeners, as women, you feel it, and it's not because of sexual abuse. So I have something to learn, I'm sure.
I bet it's related to some sort of
feeling vulnerable,
some sort of abuse,
and not
or mistreatment
powerful,
or something like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think I get my back up a little bit.
So the power of words is so significant. I wish we did a topic on that.
We got time.
We do?
Look forward to the future. We'll do that.
We'll do it some other time?
In the future.
Yeah. We'll do another series. But like the way they talk to themselves, the way you talk to yourself, the way people talk to you.
Huge. Words are so powerful. What we
words
say,
definitely are powerful.
We believe what we say too.
Well,
unless you lie. Do you lie to yourself? We'll have to do an episode about truth.
I believe in training. It's not important for a person to be as good as they think they are. It's important for them to think they're good. And then it will be, in my opinion.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
I get that. I can get that.
Because I think it's like a process.
I think we've covered forgiveness.
Did we?
I don't know. What do you think?
Hey, no, we'll come back to it.
I mean,
well,
we may need to. I think that's what we covered.
I
think that's what we said. It's kind of constant.
What
did the Bible say? We talked about that a little bit earlier. 70 times 7, the Bible says.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that number, 70 times 7, 490.
That's what Jesus said.
Yeah,
that it isn't just forgiving once or twice. That it's
Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother when he sins against me? Up to 7 times?
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Oh, must be a different version. 77 times. Wasn't it 70 times 7?
I think there's, some different versions say different things, but the idea from Jesus was that it's infinite.
Okay, we talked about forgetting, right? That piece right here. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. Forgetting what's behind. But how do you forget that?
Yeah, I think maybe forget there might have a different definition. Maybe not focusing on what was in the past, but focusing on the future.
I think what he wrote next was pretty good.
Tell me.
Okay.
Read it.
I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. That must have maybe I read it too fast or choppy. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. I don't know what version that is, but so like part of the forgetting is also when I replaced the assault with something else. My walk with Christ, my journey in understanding how to not live in that pain, right? And how to share it with others profitably. And how long has it been? I don't know, 43 years, and it took that long, but I mean, I shared it with other people and talked to other people.
Yeah. You've done the work. It is
We're still in the process of figuring it out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us today. I'm Theresa. This is Tom.
Thomas.
I guess during the forgiveness episode, this is Thomas. And today we were talking about forgiveness. And it's a process. I think that's probably the biggest thing we came up with today is that it's worth doing.
Right.
Frees us.
Yep.
Makes it a lot easier to walk into the future. But it's a process, and it doesn't mean we forget, and it doesn't mean we have to do reconciliation. So we're so glad we spent the time.
I'm glad you brought that up. We don't have to reconcile.
Yeah.
But forgiveness, what I did learn is, I'm going backwards. Forgiveness was for me.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good key.
Forgiveness is for you.
For you. Yeah.
Give yourself a gift and forgive.
Mm-hmm. It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
It's worth the decision. Yeah.
So, can mind? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So we finished it up today. Mm-hmm. So we have nothing left to do, and so we look forward to bringing what next time? What do you think? What are we going to bring?
That's a good question.
Maybe you get some feedback from people.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you what you want to hear us talk about.
So Teresa's phone number is?
I'd love to talk about the truth. That's my favorite.
Oh, the truth is your subject?
Trust. I think trust is a good one. We'll talk about that.
Okay, trust.
Learning to trust after trust being broken.
In the aftermath?
In the aftermath. Trust broken.
All right, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll come up with some good episodes. We'll let you know. Provide some teasers. Up and coming.
Zoomers. No? You don't like Zoom, right?
Well, thanks for being with us.
She loves Zoom.
No, I don't like Zoom.
All right, ready? Go again.
Thanks for being here with us at Aftermath, Overcoming What's Left Behind. We're talking about sexual abuse and how that affects us, but today we were talking about forgiveness, and I think we really covered it well. And I hope you watch our other episodes and hop on with us again. Thanks for being here.
Like, subscribe. What else do you have to do?
Share.
Yeah.
It's kind of like share, like, subscribe. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a way to say it.
It's the other way. Yeah. It's probably... Anyways, thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Did you know that the average is about 1 in 3 people have been sexually abused? That means that even if you personally have not been sexually abused, you certainly know someone that has been. Here at Aftermath, Overcoming What's Left Behind, we're working to start and continue this conversation. Will you please like, subscribe, and share the link to our episode so that we can help all those in your circle of influence? We know and truly believe that everyone can find hope and joy in the aftermath. We want to say thank you to our sponsors, Handfuls.com, where they offer a game changer for moms during mealtime with their baby feeding placemat. Go grab one for your kiddo at handfullz.com. Also, thank you to QuickSurvive.world, where you can purchase their waterproof fire starter kits for your next camping trip, bonfire, or to keep in your emergency prep kit. That's QuickSurvive.world, QuickSurvive.world. We here at Aftermath want to send a big shout out and thank you to Christ Community Church in Taunton, Massachusetts for the use of their studio. If you're in the southern Massachusetts area, you'll want to check them out as they learn to live like Jesus and help others do the same. You can find more information about this amazing church at cccfamily.com.